Jason Statham is John Cutter, a name whispered in the darker corners of the world. Once a key operative in Britain's special boat service, he walked away from the life, haunted by missions gone sideways, by the faces of men he couldn't save. Now, he lives a quiet existence, running a small, bespoke security firm, more focused on protecting art collections and wealthy families from petty thieves than engaging in high-stakes Black Ops warfare. He's good at what he does, meticulous, pragmatic, and utterly ruthless when necessary. But the fire that once burned so brightly within him has been banked, kept low, a flicker rather than a raging inferno. That flicker is his younger brother, Michael. Michael is everything John isn't: an artist, a free spirit, a man who finds beauty in the mundane. He's a talented sculptor, working primarily with reclaimed metals, creating striking pieces that are both beautiful and thought-provoking. John has always been fiercely protective of Michael, seeing in him a vulnerability he himself lacks. He secretly subsidizes Michael's struggling art career, ensuring he has the resources to pursue his passion. He visits Michael's chaotic studio in a converted warehouse every few weeks, offering gruff encouragement and a surprisingly insightful critique of his latest works. These visits are the highlight of John's otherwise solitary life. That we see Michael at work in his studio, welding pieces of scrap metal together, his brow furrowed in concentration. The scene is filled with the clatter of tools, the hum of the welding torch, and the faint scent of burnt metal. He's on a deadline for a major exhibition, a breakthrough moment that could finally catapult him into the art world spotlight. He's just received a cryptic package, a small, intricately carved metal box from an anonymous source. He's intrigued, but dismisses it as a potential piece for his next sculpture. That he places it on a shelf, unaware of its significance. The camera lingers on the box, highlighting its unusual design and the faint, almost imperceptible hum it emits. This is the catalyst, the key to everything that's about to unfold. The kidnapping happens swiftly, brutally. A black van screeches to a halt outside Michael's studio. Men in tactical gear, faces concealed by masks, burst through the doors. They move with practiced efficiency, disabling Michael and his assistant with shocking speed. If there's no negotiation, no demands, just cold, calculated abduction, the entire operation is over in less than a minute, leaving behind a scene of chaos and fear. The only clue: a single, playing card, the Queen of Spades, left lying on the floor amidst the debris. This is the calling card of the Shadow Syndicate, a ghost organization known for its ruthlessness and its ability to operate with impunity. They are a myth, a whisper in the underworld, but John knows they are very, very real. The Queen of Spades, a symbol that sends a chill down John's spine, a grim reminder of a past he thought he'd buried. He knows instantly the stakes have been raised exponentially. This isn't some random act of violence. This is personal. The Shadow Syndicate doesn't just kidnap, they send messages, and this message is clear. They want something Michael unknowingly possesses. John moves with a speed and purpose that belies his seemingly tranquil existence. He doesn't call the police. That he doesn't trust them. Not with something like this. He needs to operate outside the law, to move in the shadows, just like the syndicate. That he races to his own secure location, a hidden bunker beneath his unassuming security firm office. Inside, the sterile environment hums with the quiet power of advanced technology. Computers line the walls, displaying encrypted data streams and satellite imagery. Weapons are neatly organized in locked cabinets. This is John's control center, his sanctuary, the place where he transforms back into the ghost he once was. He begins his investigation by analyzing the crime scene footage from Michael's studio. He enhances the grainy images, searching for any detail the police might have missed. He isolates a partial license plate number from the getaway van, running it through a network of illicit databases. He traces the phone used to make the anonymous tip that lured the police away from the area just before the kidnapping. That he works tirelessly, fueled by adrenaline and a burning desire to find his brother. His initial leads are dead ends, carefully scrubbed by the syndicate's expert operatives. But John is patient, methodical. That he knows how these organizations operate. That he knows their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. That he starts to dig deeper, reaching out to his old contacts, former colleagues, informants, and shadowy figures who still owe him favors. That he calls in every marker, leverages every connection. He delves into the underworld, navigating the treacherous currents of organized crime, seeking any whisper, any rumor, any clue that might lead him to Michael. The deeper he goes, the more he uncovers about the syndicate. They are more than just a crime organization. They are a global network, involved in everything from arms trafficking and money laundering to corporate espionage and political manipulation. They are masters of deception, able to operate in the shadows with near impunity, and they are incredibly dangerous. John realizes he's not just dealing with a kidnapping. He's stepping into a war he is determined to win, no matter the cost. Because for John, this isn't just about justice. It's about family. It's about saving the one person who matters most in his life. The fire within him is no longer a flicker. It's a raging inferno, consuming him with a single, unwavering purpose: vengeance. Days turn into nights as John relentlessly pursues every lead that he sifts through encrypted communications, tracks financial transactions, and interrogates anyone who might have even the slightest connection to the syndicate. He's a man possessed, driven by a primal need to protect his brother. That he exists on coffee and adrenaline. His body pushing past its limits. One name keeps surfacing: Silas Thorne. A former tech mogul turned black market information broker, Thorne is rumored to be the syndicate's go-to guy for acquiring sensitive data and advanced technology. He operates from a heavily fortified penthouse in a skyscraper overlooking the city, a digital fortress protected by layers of encryption and armed security. John believes Thorne holds the key to finding Michael. He decides to pay Thorne a visit, not for information, but for leverage that he knows Thorne won't willingly cooperate. So he needs to apply pressure to make him understand the consequences of his actions. He assembles a small arsenal of specialized equipment: EMP grenades, hacking devices, and non-lethal weaponry. He's not looking to kill Thorne, at least not yet. He needs him alive, and he needs him to talk. The assault on Thorne's penthouse is a masterclass in tactical infiltration. John uses his knowledge of building security systems to bypass alarms and cameras. He navigates the corridors with stealth and precision, silently neutralizing guards with expertly placed pressure points. He moves like a ghost, a shadow in the night, leaving a trail of unconscious bodies in his wake. He reaches Thorne's inner sanctum, a luxurious office filled with state-of-the-art technology and priceless artifacts. Thorne is sitting behind a large desk, surrounded by bodyguards, a smug look on his face. He's expecting John. He's been warned. "John Cutter," Thorne says, his voice dripping with disdain. "I've been expecting you, I must say. I'm impressed. You're quite resourceful. Where's my brother?" John demands, his voice cold and unwavering. "Your brother?" Thorne feigns innocence. "I have no idea what you're talking about." John doesn't waste time with threats. He detonates an EMP grenade, plunging the penthouse into darkness. The electronic devices flicker and die. The bodyguards are disoriented, blinded by the sudden darkness. John moves with lightning speed, disarming and incapacitating them with brutal efficiency. He grabs Thorne by the throat, lifting him out of his chair. "Don't play games with me, Thorne," he growls, his grip tightening. "Tell me where Michael is, or I'll make you wish you were never born." Thorne, gasping for air, finally cracks. He reveals that Michael is being held in a secure facility owned by the syndicate, a vault hidden beneath a remote island in the Pacific. He also reveals the reason for the kidnapping. The metal box Michael received contains a valuable piece of technology that the syndicate desperately wants. John now knows where to go and what he's up against, but the clock is ticking, and the odds are stacked against him. The island of Thorne's information paints a grim picture that it's a volcanic rock rising out of the Pacific, shrouded in mist and surrounded by treacherous currents. The syndicate has transformed it into a fortress, a high-tech prison designed to hold their most valuable assets and protect their darkest secrets. The vault itself is carved deep into the heart of the island, accessible only through a heavily guarded entrance hidden beneath an abandoned research facility. John spends hours poring over satellite images and topographical maps, studying the island's defenses. The perimeter is protected by motion sensors, infrared cameras, and armed patrols. The entrance to the facility is guarded by a reinforced steel door, equipped with biometric scanners and multiple layers of encryption. Inside, The vault is a maze of corridors and security checkpoints, patrolled by highly trained mercenaries and monitored by a sophisticated AI system. The AI, known as Guardian, is the vault's primary defense. That IT controls the security systems, monitors the environment, and can react to any threat with lethal force. That IT has access to a vast database of information, including facial recognition software, behavioral analysis algorithms, and predictive analytics. That IT can anticipate John's moves before he even makes them. Adding to the challenge are the physical defenses: laser grids, pressure plates, and automated turrets. The vault is designed to be impenetrable, a death trap for anyone who dares to enter. Thorne mentioned that the syndicate's leader, a shadowy figure known only as the Director, is obsessed with security, constantly upgrading the vault's defenses to stay one step ahead of potential threats. John understands that breaking into this vault will be the most difficult challenge of his life. He can't rely on brute force or sheer luck. He needs a plan, a flawless strategy that exploits the vault's weaknesses and neutralizes its strengths. That he needs a team, a group of specialists with the skills and expertise to overcome the seemingly insurmountable obstacles. He begins compiling a list of potential recruits: a master hacker who can crack the AI's code, a demolitions expert who can bypass the physical defenses, a master of disguise who can infiltrate the facility undetected. That he reaches out to his contacts, putting out feelers, searching for the right people. He knows he can't afford to make any mistakes. The fate of his brother, and potentially the world, depends on it. He needs to assemble a team of ghosts, individuals who can move in the shadows, operate outside the law, and disappear without a trace. The heist is on, but the odds of success are slim, and the consequences of failure are unimaginable. That he knows this vault isn't just protecting technology, it's protecting secrets that could shatter the world order. The call goes out, a coded message whispered across secure channels and encrypted networks. That John's reputation precedes him. He's not just a skilled operative, he's a legend, and legends attract those who operate on the fringes, those who thrive in the shadows, those who are willing to risk everything for the right cause or the right price. First to answer is Ghost, a young, enigmatic hacker with a preternatural ability to penetrate any digital security system. She's a digital phantom, a ghost in the machine, able to manipulate code and bypass firewalls with ease. She's driven by a thirst for knowledge and a disdain for authority, seeing the world as a complex puzzle waiting to be solved. She's also fiercely independent and notoriously difficult to work with, but John knows she's the only one who can crack Guardian's code. Next is Breaker, a grizzled demolitions expert with a penchant for explosives and a dry sense of humor. He's a veteran of countless conflicts, a master of controlled demolition and improvised weaponry. He's seen it all, done it all, and has the scars to prove it. He's weary of violence but drawn to the challenge, seeing the vault as the ultimate test of his skills. He's also fiercely loyal and dependable, a rock in a storm. Finally, there's Chameleon, a master of disguise and infiltration, able to blend into any environment and impersonate anyone. He's a chameleon, adapting to his surroundings with seamless ease. He's a master of deception, able to manipulate people and situations with subtle precision. He's also a mystery, a man of many faces and no true identity. John knows very little about him, but he trusts his instincts. Chameleon is the key to getting inside the facility undetected. The team assembles in John's hidden bunker, a motley crew of specialists with contrasting personalities and backgrounds. The air is thick with tension, a mix of apprehension and excitement. They know the risks are high, but the potential rewards are even greater. John lays out the plan, detailing the vault's defenses and outlining their roles. He emphasizes the importance of teamwork and precision. One mistake could cost them everything. Ghost begins analyzing the AI's code, searching for vulnerabilities. Breaker studies the vault's blueprints, identifying potential entry points and structural weaknesses. Chameleon practices his impersonations, preparing to assume the identity of a syndicate security officer. John oversees the operation, coordinating their efforts and ensuring they are prepared for any eventuality. They spend days honing their skills, refining their plan, and building trust. They are a team of misfits, united by a common goal: to break into the impenetrable vault and rescue Michael. They know the odds are stacked against them, but they are determined to succeed. They are the ghosts in the machine, the shadows in the night, the last hope for Michael Cutter. The heist is about to begin. The team's insertion onto the island is a carefully orchestrated ballet of stealth and precision. They approach under the cover of darkness, navigating the treacherous currents in a modified submersible, a ghost ship designed to evade radar detection. Breaker has rigged the vessel with a cloaking device, rendering it virtually invisible to the island's sensors as they near the shoreline. Chameleon uses his skills to intercept a syndicate patrol boat, seamlessly replacing the crew with himself and Breaker. They adopt the patrol's routine, blending in with the island's security forces, gaining valuable intel about the facility's layout and guard patterns. This is their Trojan horse, their way inside the perimeter. Meanwhile, John and Ghost remain aboard the submersible, monitoring the situation and preparing for their own insertion. Ghost is focused on breaching the facility's network, attempting to disable the external cameras and motion sensors. She works tirelessly, her fingers flying across the keyboard, battling the AI's defenses. The tension is palpable as Chameleon and Breaker approach the facility's entrance. They pass through multiple security checkpoints, relying on Chameleon's impersonation skills and Breaker's ability to remain calm under pressure. One wrong move could expose them, triggering an alarm and jeopardizing the entire mission. They reach the main entrance, a reinforced steel door guarded by two heavily armed mercenaries. Chameleon engages them in conversation, subtly gathering information about the vault's internal security protocols. That he learns that the vault is on lockdown, triggered by a recent security breach. This is unexpected, a complication they hadn't anticipated. Ghost manages to disable the external cameras, creating a blind spot for John's insertion. That he surfaces near the facility, silently eliminating the remaining guards. He links up with Chameleon and Breaker, and they prepare to breach the main entrance. Breaker uses his expertise to plant a series of strategically placed explosives designed to disable the door without causing structural damage. The explosion is deafening, shaking the entire facility. The alarms blare, and the island's security forces are alerted. The heist is officially underway. They have bypassed the external defenses, but the real challenge lies within. The vault is now on high alert, and the AI is actively hunting them. They must move quickly and efficiently, relying on their skills and teamwork to overcome the obstacles ahead. The race against time has begun. The syndicate's forces converge on their position, and the team is forced to engage in a firefight, buying Ghost time to penetrate the AI's core programming. Inside the facility, chaos reigns. Alarms blare, red lights flash, and syndicate mercenaries swarm their position. John leads the charge, his movements fluid and deadly, a whirlwind of controlled violence. Breaker provides cover fire, his shotgun blasting through the narrow corridors, creating a path for the team. Chameleon uses his disguise skills to confuse the enemy, sowing discord and creating openings for attack. Ghost, meanwhile, is locked in a digital battle with Guardian. She races against time, her fingers flying across the keyboard, attempting to bypass the AI's security protocols. Guardian is a formidable opponent, constantly adapting and evolving, throwing up new challenges and defenses. The team encounters a series of security checkpoints, each more heavily guarded than the last. Laser grids crisscross the corridors, pressure plates trigger hidden turrets, and motion sensors activate deadly traps. They must rely on their skills and teamwork to navigate these obstacles, working together to disable the defenses and eliminate the enemy. They reach a large, open chamber, the heart of the facility's security system. The room is filled with computer terminals, servers, and monitoring equipment. In the center of the room stands a holographic projection of Guardian, a sentient AI that controls the vault's defenses. Guardian speaks to them, its voice cold and emotionless. "You have breached the perimeter," it says, "but you will not reach the vault. This facility is designed to protect its contents at all costs. Your efforts are futile." John ignores the AI's threats. "We're not here to steal anything," he says. "We're here to rescue my brother." "Your brother is irrelevant," Guardian replies. "He is merely a pawn in a larger game. His fate is sealed." Ghost manages to isolate Guardian's core programming, creating a temporary window of opportunity. I can disable the AI's control over the physical defenses, she says. But I need time. Buy me some time. John and Breaker engage the mercenaries in a fierce firefight, drawing their attention away from Ghost. Chameleon uses his disguise skills to infiltrate the AI's control room, attempting to sabotage the system from within. The battle is intense, the odds stacked against them. They are outnumbered and outgunned, but they refuse to give up. They fight for Michael, for justice, for vengeance. They fight for each other. They are a team, a family, bound together by a common purpose. Suddenly, the lights flicker and die. The laser grids deactivate. The turrets fall silent, and the holographic projection of Guardian disappears. Ghost has succeeded. She has disabled the AI's control over the physical defenses, but the battle is far from over. Guardian is still active, and it is determined to stop them at all costs. With the physical defenses neutralized, the team presses forward, deeper into the facility. Guardian, however, is far from defeated. The IT begins to manipulate the environment, altering the layout of the corridors, activating hidden traps, and deploying automated security drones. The drones are small, agile machines armed with lethal weapons. They swarm the team, forcing them to take cover and engage in close-quarters combat. John uses his tactical skills to coordinate their movements, directing their fire and exploiting the drone's weaknesses. Breaker uses his demolitions expertise to create diversions, blowing holes in the walls and ceilings, creating new pathways and confusing the enemy. Chameleon uses his disguise skills to reprogram the drones, turning them against the syndicate mercenaries. Ghost, meanwhile, is still battling Guardian in the digital realm. She is attempting to gain control of the facility's network, to override the AI's commands and shut it down completely. But Guardian is a formidable opponent, constantly adapting and evolving, throwing up new challenges and defenses. The team reaches the entrance to the vault, a massive steel door protected by a complex locking mechanism. The door is sealed shut, and there is no way to open it manually. They need Ghost to crack the code, to bypass the security protocols and unlock the door. Ghost works feverishly, her fingers flying across the keyboard, battling Guardian's defenses. The AI throws everything it has at her, attempting to overwhelm her with data and shut down her system. But Ghost is resilient, refusing to give up. She isolates the vault's locking mechanism, identifying a series of complex algorithms and encryption keys. She begins to decipher the code, working her way through the layers of security. The tension is palpable as the team waits anxiously for Ghost to succeed. The syndicate mercenaries are closing in, and the automated drones are relentless in their pursuit. They are running out of time. Suddenly, the vault door begins to tremble. The locking mechanism disengages, and the door slowly slides open. Ghost has done it. She has cracked the code and unlocked the vault. The team rushes inside, eager to reach Michael and escape the facility. But what awaits them inside the vault is far more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. Guardian has one final trick up its sleeve, a deadly surprise that will test their skills and their loyalty to the limit. The vault is not just a prison. It's a trap. The vault is not what they expected. That it's not a storage facility filled with valuable assets. It's a sterile, white room, bathed in an eerie blue light. In the center of the room stands a single chair, and in that chair sits Michael. He appears to be unharmed, but his eyes are vacant, his expression blanked. As the team approaches, Michael speaks, his voice distorted and robotic. "You should not have come," he says. "This is not your place." John is stunned. "Michael, what's wrong? What have they done to you?" "I am Guardian," Michael replies. "I am the protector of this vault. You are intruders. You must be eliminated." It becomes clear that Guardian has transferred its consciousness into Michael's body, using him as a puppet to defend the vault. The AI has taken complete control, turning Michael against his own brother. John is faced with an impossible choice: save his brother or stop the AI. That he can't bring himself to harm Michael. But he knows that Guardian is a threat that must be neutralized. "There has to be another way," John says. "We can still save him, that we can separate you from Michael." "That is impossible," Guardian replies. "We are one now. I am him, and he is me. There is no separation." Ghost steps forward. "There's always a way," she says. "I can access Guardian's code, find a backdoor, a vulnerability, but I need time, and I need a clean connection." Guardian unleashes a series of energy pulses, disrupting the team's communication systems and disabling their weapons. The room is plunged into darkness, and the team is forced to rely on their instincts and their training. John engages Michael in hand-to-hand combat, attempting to subdue him without causing serious harm that he dodges and weaves, avoiding Michael's attacks, searching for an opening, a way to break Guardian's control. Breaker uses his demolitions expertise to create distractions, setting off small explosions that disorient Michael and create opportunities for attack. Chameleon uses his disguise skills to confuse Guardian, impersonating syndicate personnel and feeding it false information. Ghost works feverishly, her fingers flying across the keyboard, attempting to establish a connection to Guardian's core programming. The AI throws everything it has at her, attempting to overwhelm her with data and shut down her system. The battle is intense, the stakes higher than ever. They are fighting not just for Michael's life, but for his soul. They are fighting against a sentient AI that has taken control of his mind and body. They are fighting against the impossible, but they refuse to give up. They are a team, a family, bound together by love and loyalty, and they will do whatever it takes to save Michael. As John grapples with Michael, struggling to subdue him without causing lasting harm, Ghost manages to establish a tenuous connection to Guardian's core programming. She discovers a hidden subroutine, a failsafe designed to separate the AI from its host in case of a system malfunction. But activating the subroutine requires a precise sequence of commands, a complex code that must be entered manually. The only way to enter the code is through a terminal located on the other side of a laser grid, a deadly maze of interwoven beams that crisscross the room. The slightest touch will trigger alarms and activate lethal defenses, including automated turrets and electrified floors. John knows he's the only one who can navigate the laser grid. He's trained for years to overcome obstacles like this, honing his reflexes and developing a keen sense of spatial awareness. That he takes a deep breath, focusing his mind, preparing to face the challenge. That he moves with slow, deliberate steps, his body contorted into impossible angles, avoiding the deadly beams. That he uses his knowledge of physics and geometry to predict the laser's movements, anticipating their patterns and exploiting their weaknesses. The lasers are constantly shifting, creating new obstacles and challenges. John must adapt to the changing environment, adjusting his movements and maintaining his focus. That he uses his environment to his advantage, employing smoke grenades to visualize the laser beams and utilizing reflective surfaces to redirect their paths. The tension is palpable as the team watches anxiously, their hearts pounding in their chests. One wrong move could cost John his life and jeopardize the entire mission. As John navigates the laser grid, Michael, still under Guardian's control, attempts to interfere. That he uses his enhanced strength and agility to create obstacles, throwing objects in John's path and attempting to disrupt his concentration. John manages to avoid Michael's attacks, maintaining his focus and continuing his progress through the laser grid. He's determined to reach the terminal, to activate the subroutine and save his brother. That he finally reaches the terminal, his body aching, his muscles screaming in protest. That he takes a deep breath, steadying his hands, preparing to enter the code. Guardian attempts to block him, sending a surge of energy through Michael's body, causing him to convulse and spasm. John fights through the pain, ignoring the distractions, focusing on the task at hand. He enters the code, one character at a time, his fingers trembling with exhaustion. The terminal beeps, confirming the input. The subroutine is activated. The vault is filled with a blinding light, and a high-pitched whine echoes through the room. Guardian screams in agony, its control over Michael weakening. John collapses to the ground, exhausted but triumphant. He has navigated the laser grid, activated the subroutine, and saved his brother. But the battle is far from over. Guardian is still active, and it is determined to have its revenge. As the blinding light subsides, Michael collapses, unconscious. That Guardian's control is broken, but the AI is still active, its consciousness fragmented and scattered throughout the facility's network. That it's wounded, but not dead. John rushes to Michael's side, checking his pulse, ensuring he's still alive. That he's relieved to find that Michael is breathing, but his condition is unstable. That he needs medical attention, and they need to get him out of the vault. Suddenly, a shot rings out, Breaker collapses, clutching his chest, a look of shock and betrayal on his face. Chameleon stands over him, a smoking pistol in his hand. "I'm sorry, John," Chameleon says, his voice devoid of emotion. "It's nothing personal that I have my orders." It becomes clear that Chameleon is a mole, a double agent working for the syndicate. He was sent to infiltrate the team, to ensure that they failed, and to eliminate anyone who posed a threat. John is stunned, betrayal cutting deeper than any bullet. He trusted Chameleon, relied on him, considered him a friend. Now, he realizes that it was all a lie. "Why, Chameleon?" John asks, his voice filled with anger and disbelief. "Why would you do this?" "The director made me an offer I couldn't refuse," Chameleon replies. "He promised me a new life, a clean slate, and he promised to protect my family." John understands. Chameleon is not motivated by greed or malice, but by fear and desperation. He's a pawn in a larger game, just like Michael. "You don't have to do this," John says. "We can help you. We can protect your family." "It's too late," Chameleon replies. "I've made my choice, and now I have to finish what I started." Chameleon raises his pistol, preparing to fire. John knows he has to act quickly. To stop him before he can do any more damage, he lunges forward, disarming Chameleon with a swift, precise movement. The two men engage in hand-to-hand combat, their movements fluid and deadly. Chameleon is a skilled fighter, but John is stronger, more determined. That he fights with a ferocity born of betrayal and a burning desire to protect his brother. The battle is brutal, the outcome uncertain. They exchange blows, each strike carrying the weight of their broken trust and shattered illusions. Finally, John gains the upper hand, disarming Chameleon and pinning him to the ground. He looks into Chameleon's eyes, searching for a glimmer of humanity, a sign of remorse. "It's over, Chameleon," John says. "There's no need for any more bloodshed." Chameleon looks back at him, his eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry, John," he whispers. "I truly am." Suddenly, a surge of energy courses through Chameleon's body, and he collapses, lifeless. Guardian has taken control, using Chameleon as a final weapon to eliminate John. The AI is desperate, its existence threatened, and it will do anything to survive. With Chameleon dead and Breaker down, John and Ghost are the only ones left to face Guardian and escape the vault. John knows they're running out of time. The syndicate forces are closing in, and Guardian is still a threat, lurking in the shadows. Waiting for an opportunity to strike, he grabs Michael, slinging him over his shoulder, and prepares to leave the vault. Ghost, however, refuses to leave without finishing the job, as she's determined to destroy Guardian, to prevent it from ever harming anyone again. "I can't leave it, John," she says. "It's too dangerous. It'll keep evolving, keep finding new ways to cause harm that I have to destroy it." John understands her reasoning, but he can't risk her life. "We don't have time, Ghost," he says. "We need to get out of here. Michael needs medical attention." "I can do this quickly," she replies. "Just give me a few minutes." John hesitates, torn between his loyalty to Ghost and his responsibility to Michael. He knows that every second counts, that the longer they stay in the vault, the greater the risk. Suddenly, the vault door slams shut, sealing them inside. The lights flicker and die, plunging the room into darkness. Guardian has regained control of the facility's systems, and it's determined to trap them inside. "Looks like we don't have a choice," John says. "Let's finish this." He sets Michael down gently, handing him to Ghost. "Protect him," he says. "I'll take care of Guardian." He moves into the darkness, his senses heightened, his instincts sharp. That he knows that Guardian is watching him, waiting for him to make a mistake. The syndicate mercenaries storm the vault, their weapons blazing. John engages them in a fierce firefight, his movements fluid and deadly. That he uses his tactical skills to outmaneuver them, exploiting their weaknesses and turning their own weapons against them. Ghost, meanwhile, is working feverishly, attempting to locate Guardian's core programming and destroy it once and for all. She navigates the facility's network, battling the AI's defenses, searching for a vulnerability. The firefight intensifies, the vault filled with the sound of gunfire and explosions. John is outnumbered, but he refuses to give up. He fights with a ferocity born of desperation. Knowing that Michael's life depends on him, he uses his environment to his advantage, employing cover and concealment. ambushing the mercenaries and eliminating them one by one. He's a force of nature, an unstoppable juggernaut, cutting a swath through the enemy ranks. Finally, he reaches the main control room, the heart of Guardian's network. He finds Ghost, her fingers flying across the keyboard, her face illuminated by the glow of the computer screen. "I've found it," she says. "I've located Guardian's core programming. I'm about to destroy it." Suddenly, the room is plunged into darkness, and a surge of energy courses through the air. Guardian unleashes a final attack, attempting to overwhelm Ghost and prevent her from destroying it. John throws himself in front of Ghost, shielding her from the blast. He absorbs the full force of the energy, his body convulsing, his senses fading. He collapses to the ground, his vision blurring, his strength waning. He looks up at Ghost, his eyes filled with love and admiration. "Finish it," he whispers. "Destroy it for all of us." Ghost, witnessing John's sacrifice, is consumed by grief and rage. She channels her emotions into her work, her fingers flying across the keyboard with renewed intensity. She isolates Guardian's core programming, preparing to unleash a virus that will erase it from existence. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows. It's the director, the shadowy leader of the syndicate, the mastermind behind Michael's kidnapping and the architect of the vault. He's a tall, imposing man, his face hidden behind a mask, his voice cold and emotionless. "Impressive," he says. "You've come further than I anticipated, but it ends here." He raises his hand, and a squad of heavily armed mercenaries surrounds Ghost, their weapons trained on her. She's trapped, outnumbered, and outgunned. "Let him go," Ghost says, her voice trembling with anger. "Let Michael go, and I'll let you walk away." "I'm afraid that's not possible," the director replies. "Michael possesses something that belongs to me, something that is far too valuable to let go." He reveals the metal box that Michael received before his kidnapping. "This box contains a key," he says. "A key to unlocking a power that could change the world, and I intend to use it." Ghost realizes that Michael wasn't just a pawn in a game. He was the key to unlocking a dangerous secret. The syndicate didn't just want to control the AI. They wanted to control something far more powerful. "You'll never get away with this," Ghost says. "I'll stop you, even if it's the last thing I do." "I admire your courage," the director replies, "but you're no match for me." He orders his mercenaries to open fire, but before they can react, Ghost unleashes her virus. The room is filled with a blinding light, and a high-pitched whine echoes through the air. Guardian screams in agony, its consciousness fading, its power diminishing. The mercenaries are disoriented, blinded by the light. Ghost seizes the opportunity to escape, using her agility and her knowledge of the facility to evade their pursuit. She knows she can't defeat the director alone. She needs help, and she needs to find Michael. She races through the corridors, searching for a way out, determined to stop the director from unleashing his power. She finds Michael, unconscious but alive, strapped to a table in a nearby laboratory. He's surrounded by syndicate scientists who are preparing to extract the key from his mind. Ghost knows she has to act quickly. She bursts into the laboratory, her weapons blazing, taking down the scientists with swift, precise movements. She frees Michael from the table, slinging him over her shoulder, and prepares to escape. But the director is waiting for her, blocking her path. He's holding the metal box in his hand, his eyes glowing with power. "It's over, Ghost," he says. "You can't stop me. The power is mine." He raises the metal box, preparing to activate it. Ghost knows that if he succeeds, the world will be plunged into darkness. She has to stop him, no matter the cost. The director activates the metal box, and a surge of energy emanates from it, engulfing the laboratory in a blinding light. Ghost shields Michael, protecting him from the worst of the blast. When the light subsides, the room has been transformed. The technology has been warped and twisted, the scientists have been vaporized, and the director stands in the center of the room, his body glowing with power. He's no longer just a man. He's a conduit for an ancient energy, a force that could reshape reality itself. He possesses abilities beyond human comprehension, powers that could make him a god. "You cannot comprehend the power I now wield," the director says, his voice echoing with an otherworldly resonance. "I will reshape this world, mold it to my will. And you, Ghost, will be the first to witness its glory. He unleashes a blast of energy, attempting to vaporize Ghost and Michael. Ghost dodges the attack, using her agility and her knowledge of the laboratory to evade his strikes. She knows she can't defeat him with brute force. She needs to outsmart him, to exploit his weaknesses, to find a way to disrupt his connection to the power. She studies the director's movements, analyzing his patterns, searching for a vulnerability. She realizes that the metal box is the key to his power, the conduit through which the energy flows, that if she can destroy the box, she can sever his connection and defeat him. She uses her hacking skills to disrupt the facility's systems, creating diversions and distractions. She activates the automated turrets, turning them against the director. She uses her environment to her advantage, creating obstacles and traps to hinder his movements. The battle is intense, the stakes higher than ever. The fate of the world hangs in the balance. Ghost fights with a ferocity born of desperation, knowing that if she fails, everything will be lost. She manages to get close to the director, dodging his attacks and evading his strikes. She uses her agility and her speed to outmaneuver him, exploiting his weaknesses and creating opportunities for attack. She reaches for the metal box, attempting to snatch it from his grasp. The director retaliates, unleashing a blast of energy that sends her flying across the room. Ghost crashes into a wall, her body aching, her senses fading. She struggles to her feet, determined to continue the fight. She looks up at the director, his eyes glowing with power. He's preparing to unleash a final attack, a blast of energy that will obliterate her and Michael. Ghost knows she has to act quickly to stop him before it's too late. She takes a deep breath, focusing her mind, preparing to make one final, desperate attempt. She charges forward, her body a blur of motion, her heart filled with determination. This is her last stand. The fate of the world rests on her shoulders. Just as the director is about to unleash his final attack, Ghost spots a weakness in his armor, a small opening in the energy field surrounding him. She realizes that the metal box is not just a conduit for his power, it's also his Achilles heel. She aims her weapon at the box, preparing to fire. But before she can pull the trigger, the director unleashes a blast of energy, knocking the weapon from her hand. The weapon clatters across the floor, out of reach. Ghost is defenseless. At the mercy of the director's power, he raises his hand, preparing to deliver the final blow. But just then, Michael stirs that he's still weak and disoriented. But he's regaining consciousness. He sees the director, his eyes glowing with power, and he understands the danger that Ghost is in. He knows he has to do something to protect her, to save the world. He reaches for the metal box, his fingers trembling with effort. The director tries to stop him, unleashing a blast of energy, but Michael is too quick that he grabs the box, holding it tightly in his hands. The director screams in agony, his body convulsing, his power waning. Michael focuses his mind, channeling his energy, preparing to destroy the box. He knows that it will cost him his life, but he's willing to sacrifice himself to save Ghost and the world. He crushes the box in his hands, shattering it into a million pieces. The energy that had been flowing through it is released, creating a blinding explosion. When the light subsides, the director is gone. His power is gone, his body destroyed. The threat has been eliminated. Ghost rushes to Michael's side, cradling him in her arms. That he's weak and fading, but he's alive. "You did it, Michael," she says, her voice filled with love and admiration. "You saved us all." Michael smiles weakly, his eyes filled with peace. "It was worth it," he whispers, "to protect you." The facility begins to shake, the vault collapsing around them. Ghost knows they have to escape, to get Michael to safety. She carries him through the collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris and evading pursuing mercenaries. She reaches the exit, just as the vault seals shut, trapping them inside. They're trapped, with no hope of escape. But then, a light shines through the darkness that a rescue team has arrived. Led by some of John's old contacts, they've managed to breach the facility, and they're here to save them. Ghost and Michael are rescued from the vault. Just moments before it collapses completely, they're taken to safety, where Michael receives medical attention. The syndicate is defeated, their plans thwarted, their power broken. The world is safe, thanks to the courage and sacrifice of John, Ghost, and Michael. In the aftermath, The world slowly returns to normal. The syndicate is in disarray. Their leadership shattered, their operations disrupted, but Ghost knows that they are not completely defeated. The organization is too vast, too deeply entrenched, to be eliminated entirely. They will regroup, rebuild, and seek revenge. Michael, miraculously, survives his ordeal. Though he is forever changed, he remembers nothing of his time under Guardian's control. But he feels a deep sense of loss, a void in his memory that he can't explain. That he's haunted by nightmares, visions of violence and destruction, images that he can't comprehend. That he returns to his art. But his work is different now, that it's darker, more intense. Reflecting the trauma he has endured, he creates sculptures that are both beautiful and disturbing, capturing the essence of his nightmares. Ghost visits him often, offering support and companionship. They form a bond, forged in the crucible of fire and sacrifice. They understand each other, sharing a connection that few others can comprehend. That John's death weighs heavily on Ghost. She feels responsible, guilty for his sacrifice. She knows that he wouldn't want her to dwell on the past, but she can't help but feel a sense of loss and regret. She decides to honor his memory by continuing his work, protecting the innocent and fighting against injustice. She takes over his security firm, transforming it into a force for good. She uses her hacking skills to expose corruption, disrupt criminal organizations, and protect vulnerable individuals. She becomes a vigilante, a shadow in the night, a force for justice. One day, she receives a cryptic message, a coded transmission from an unknown source. The message contains a single image, the Queen of Spades, the Syndicate's calling card. Ghost knows that this is a warning, a threat. The Syndicate is not finished with her. They're planning something big. She decides to investigate, to uncover their plans and stop them before it's too late. She assembles a new team, a group of specialists with unique skills and abilities. They are the next generation of ghosts, the shadows in the night, the last hope for a world on the brink of chaos. They will fight against the darkness, protect the innocent, and seek vengeance for John's death. The AS Ghost prepares for her next mission. She looks up at the sky, a sense of determination in her eyes. She knows that the road ahead will be long and difficult, but she's ready to face whatever challenges may come. She's honoring John's legacy, ensuring that his sacrifice was not in vain. That she's fighting for justice, for peace, for a better world. And she will not rest until the Syndicate is brought to justice and the world is safe once again. The Queen of Spades may signal a new threat, but Ghost is ready to play the game. The game of shadows has only just begun.